Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United versus Dortmund in Vegas, baby. Joining me as always is Mr. Joseph Smith.
Right here.
We are here. We
Las
are in Vegas. We are in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And you can see the view.
Oh my God.
Is fantastic.
It is.
I mean, if that doesn't sum up Las Vegas, I don't know what does. Manchester United's pre-season so far has been a mixed bag, my good friend, hasn't it? We've had the rough with the smooth, the up with the down, the dark with the light.
It started really well, and we beat Lyon, we beat Arsenal, and Arsenal obviously being a big test. Almost, not literally, but the kind of a team going from being poor and underachieving to having a really good season last year. They were kind of the team that United are almost sort of trying to emulate, pushing on for a title challenge for the first time in a while, which sounds gross to say because I hate Arsenal being something we aspire to. But beating them, I thought, great, this is good. And then we had the Wrexham game, which obviously it wasn't the first team, but you still don't want to lose it. And then the first team were back in action against Madrid. And it was just a slightly toothless performance. And then you look back and actually you think, well, we only got one against Lyon. We got 2 against Arsenal, that was pretty good, but then we didn't score against Real Madrid. We only got 1 against Wrexham. It's just, it worries me a little bit that United I don't want it to be an issue that, losing games in pre-season, but you don't want to go into the start of the season with like 4 losses in a row.
Yeah.
It would be good to get a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence, especially going into Ten Hag's second season. So I'm not sitting here worrying about pre-season, but do you know what I mean? Do you have that thing of like, you don't want to just lose every game though, just because it's pre-season, or does it you just not care at all?
I think there's a mixture of both. I don't think you can look too much into it. I remember the Van Gaal pre-season where we beat everyone.
Yeah.
And we all got excited. And we looked at that fixture list going into the new season. The first sort of 7 or 8 Premier League games were against the bottom half of the table, thinking we could really go for it. We lost the first game at home to Swansea and lost, I think, 3 of the first 6 or something. Yeah, it was really bad. You can't really tell. But I understand what you mean about men. I think for me, the main thing with this pre-season is getting people like Andre Onana and Mason Mount into the team prepared and just sort of understanding the teammates and getting that everyone on the same sort of singing from the same song sheet. And also some of the youngsters as well. You mentioned the Wrexham game. We were at the Wrexham game. I don't like seeing young players representing Manchester United having a tough time of it. And, the kid Dango got sent off. Nathan Bishop had a bit of a bad one, didn't he, with the challenge on Mullins, and then he was getting booed. I don't like seeing that, which could stay with them. Yeah. Because a player like Marcus Rashford could, he can lose against Madrid and he'll be annoyed, but it's not going to affect his career. No. Someone young, like we saw with Kobe Manu, getting that injury, it can affect him a little bit. So I just want to see the youngsters getting a fair crack of the whip, enjoying themselves and getting some positive results, and the new signings ingratiated. And I think you can have those things and still have results that aren't great.
That's true, especially against teams of the size of Madrid. You don't always beat them. No, I get that.
We could have lost to Madrid and played well, and Mainu finishes the game and Onana shows what he's about, and it's happy days. But we didn't. So I just feel like now is the time to, against the likes of Dortmund and Bilbao, kick on, because we've got them coming up as well, and just start getting that momentum going.
Another thing I want to talk about, and I mentioned it before the goals, but the lack of striker is... It's obvious just reading the team sheets, but watching United at the minute, I do feel as though it's quite apparent that we don't have anyone that can score. Like, we played Sancho up there, we played Rashford, and obviously we know Rashford can score, but he didn't look like a number 9 against Real Madrid, did he? He didn't. No. He wasn't coming into feet, he wasn't playing it off and turning in behind, he just sort of looked a little bit lost. And this lack of a number 9 is concerning, isn't it? And Højlund is the real only name mentioned, but how much do you think we're seeing that as a sort of limiting factor at the minute?
A little bit. I don't think we created enough chances anyway. Yeah. I think even if you've got a number 9, I think the main issue for me about the whole striker and Højlund coming in is I want to get him in sooner rather than later. Yeah. Because like I said about Onana, like I said about Mount, these players have to get used to the teammates. They have to get used to playing for Manchester United. Onana's been at Inter. It's a big club. It's not the size of Manchester United. No. Mount's been at Chelsea, a big club. It's not the same size as Manchester United. It's not the same sort of feeling. You're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. I know we've not been sort of tearing up trees in terms of what we've done since Fergie's time, but we're still one of the big boys. And I think there is a difference there. And if someone like Højlund's going to come in from Atalanta and play for Manchester United, he's got to get used to that. And it's going to take a little while. So that's my main issue here. It's not the fact we need a striker, but can we get it done sooner rather than later? I don't want to be doing what we did last season where Casemiro and Antony came in during the season, because I think it can take you a little while to get going. Antony hit the ground running and then tailed off. Casemiro actually took a little while to get going, and that's Casemiro. So a kid like Højlund, if it is going to be him, maybe there's also talk, I know it's a different position of someone like Amrabat. It's going to take him a little while, and that's my main worry.
And like you said, going back to your point before about sometimes when you're a younger player, or I think I would add new signing to that, especially a young new signing, a rough start can be crucial. You know, how the first 15 games of your career can get a new club goes. When you're a young player, that can make all the difference. So you want to give him the best chance to possibly succeed, don't you? Because, you know, Casemiro, like you said, struggled a little bit. And when you're 20 and you've never really done it in a big league, it could make all the difference. So, yeah, we need to get it sorted soon.
No, we do. And we've had lots of players that have come, struggled at the beginning and never got out of that. You've had other players that have come, hit the ground running and just never looked back. Let's talk about predicted 11s. Mm-hmm. We'll talk through yours. Talk us through your predicted 11 because you're saying that you want to get momentum, you want to, sort of get back to winning ways, if that's the right term. Obviously, Dortmund are a strong team. Who have you gone with?
Yeah, I've gone strong. And I think we need to now. We're looking at, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the start of the season. It's not like, there's too much time to still be building up fitness here, so they need to get minutes in the legs. So I'm going to go Onana, who I thought looked excellent the other night. It's a shame on paper he got bicycle kicked and chipped in a game, because they are two of the more embarrassing ways to concede. Yeah. But I don't think he was particularly at fault for either of them.
No, he wasn't.
The ball was, the go-red kick, he was unmarked, 6 yards out, and the ball bounced on the line as it went in, and the chip was just a good goal. But I think he looked excellent with the ball at his feet. Then I'm going to go Wan-Bissaka, who first half I thought his interplay looked really good and he was building up well and everything, but again, not such a good second half. And then I'll go with that same back three, Varane, Martinez and Shaw. And one thing we need to sort is how many times was Vinicius Jr. just sprinting at like Martinez by himself or Luke Shaw by himself? Like we either had the ball or they were just like completely counter-attacking us. So that back four needs to play and needs to get it right. And then I'll go Casemiro with Mount next to him. I think it's unfortunate that Kobe Mainoo's obviously injured, but it probably gives us a chance to see what is the most likely starting lineup against Wolves in the league. And then with Bruno in front of him. And I'd like to see Antony on the right, Sancho on the left, and Rashford up front. I think Garnacho played okay against Madrid, but based on last season, he's probably more likely that Sancho's going to start. So I'd like to see, what is most likely going to be that first 11. So, yeah, just as strong as possible, really.
I kind of agree with everything you said. The only slight tweak I probably made, I think I did something similar last time. I'm going to start Garnacho again. Yeah. I think he looked lively. I thought he played better against Madrid than Sancho did. I'm not saying he's a better player, though some may argue he is. I just wonder whether it's a nice thinking. If I'm going to start this kid, if he's going to be optioned to start, maybe he's got to get used to the physicality of playing 90 minutes against strong teams, because he does seem to favour him as an impact sub. And I get that because, funnily enough, I feel more confident of Garnacho coming off the bench than I would of Sancho, if that makes sense.
Yeah, me too.
I do think he's a better impact
player. His type of play, getting in behind,
explosive,
direct.
very quick, direct. Sancho sometimes can be a little bit off the pace when he comes on. But it's paper thin margins. Get involved in the comments and the chat. Let us know what you think of our teams. Do you agree? Do you think we should maybe give some more of the kids a chance? We've seen some of them playing against Wrexham. Is it time to give them another crack of the whip against a Dortmund side? Talking of Dortmund, they had a similar season to what we had in 2012, didn't they? Final day drama. It was in their hands. It looked like they were going to finally stop this Bayern Munich dominance that's been going on forever, and they failed. Basically.
Genuinely heartbreaking.
No way to put it. It was just disastrous.
It couldn't have been worse, really, could it?
No.
Like, what they won 9 in a row or something, Bayern, at that point. All you have to do is win your last game at home.
Yeah.
Against a mid-table team with nothing to play for, and they're 2-0 down in like 30 minutes. It was horrible, and it was a disaster. It was. I had it on like the side screen. I was playing FIFA. Like, I'll keep an eye on it, but they're going to win, obviously. And I was like, they're 2-0 down. Like, that's the sort of heartbreaking thing that can affect like seasons to come, let alone that week. So another thing to point out as well, just reading before who Dortmund have played so far pre-season. They've played Westphalia Rheinern. They've played Rot-Weiss Oberhausen.
Love them.
You know them?
Big fan of them.
Rot-Weiss Erfurt.
I'm not a big fan of them.
And San Diego Loyal. And they've won all of those games. But also, I think the point I'm trying to make is this is their first big test of pre-season.
I was about to say, no disrespect to those teams, but I've never heard of any of them.
So I'm expecting United to be the fresher team here.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, they've got absolute trauma going on. People like Marco Reus and like some of the older players in that team will be like, I can't believe it's happened. Like, that must be so hard to get over.
It's all right with Bellingham, innit? Because he just got off to Madrid. He was gutted, but he's gone to Madrid. But some of them were like, how has this happened again? How did we have it in our
sad.
hands going into the last game of the season? Like you say, that is something that can stay with you. With all that being said, then, give us your score prediction.
Based on the fact that this is the first big test, United have kind of been out there. They've got the run out against some top teams already. I hope United are a bit fresher, a bit further in down the line in terms of fitness. So I think we'll win. I think we'll bounce back. But again, I'm just worried about the score. I can't see us scoring a lot of goals, so I'll go with a 1-0 win.
I was going to go 1-0, but to mix it up, I'll go 2-1.
Yep.
You're right, we do need to start scoring a bit more freely, and I do worry about that a little bit, but I'm hoping that some of our players who haven't quite been at their best yet, but someone like Marcus Rashford, for example, who looks a little bit rusty, comes into it in this game, just gets himself going as we get towards August. Get involved in the comments in the chat, and make sure as well you are hitting that subscribe button. What gets to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can do it. And you don't want to miss out on all the content we've been doing, not just on the tour, of course, but back in the studio where we will have the watch along. Joe, where can people find you?
Joe Smith 93, and in a 43-degree Las Vegas, the hottest place I've ever been in my life.
Is that warm? That 43? It feels warm, but is that like...
You've got a hoodie on, Jay.
Listen, I'm annoyed with myself for not bringing me Parker, to be honest with you. So the least I can do is wear me hoodie. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Moyer. This has been the Dortmund preview. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.